What do you think happens when a narcissist collapses? They do not simply vanish into thin air. They don't die. They don't sit in silence and reflect, regret the harm they caused. No. What actually happens is far darker and far more predictable. They migrate. They move from one stage to another. They drag their false self into new arenas, trying desperately to keep the show alive. Collapse does not bring humility to these people, it brings new disguises. They look for any place that will tolerate them, feed them, or at the very least give them an audience. And these are not abstract or symbolic places I'm talking about, they're real. You may pass them every single day. They exist in our cities, our communities, or our neighborhoods. You may even see people who look like saints, martyrs, victims, or visionaries standing in these spaces. But behind the costume lies the same hunger for validation, control, and power. Collapsed narcissists do not stop performing, they simply change the backdrop. Some of these places are unexpected. They appear safe, respectable, or even sacred. Yet, if you pay attention, you will notice the same patterns of entitlement, manipulation, and self pity replaying themselves over and over again. Others are obvious, noisy, even vulgar. But in both cases, the story is the same. A person who has lost access to supply is now scavenging in new ways, still clinging to their false self, still avoiding the one thing they will never do. What is that? Change. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today is 7 real places collapsed narcissists go. One quick reminder before we get started. Only 60 seats are left at an early bird price for the workshop I'm hosting on overcoming betrayal trauma after narcissistic abuse. If you want to book your spot and learn how to heal from this kind of a wound, click the link in my description or the I button above. Now, let's begin. Number 1, therapy. When you see a narcissist in therapy, do not assume it's because they have woken up to their damage. They have not. Therapy becomes their replacement stage, as I said, once their supply dries up. They walk into that office not to heal but to perform. They want someone to listen endlessly, to affirm their victim story, to nod along as they explain how everyone misunderstood them, abandoned them, or betrayed their brilliance. They pressure therapists into reviving their false self, demanding sympathy while refusing accountability. If the therapist dares to reflect the truth back, the narcissist retaliates, mocking their credentials, attacking their intelligence, and trying to drag them down. Very few ever show real change. I do not know of even a single collapsed narcissist who went to therapy and showed real consistent change. These people treat therapy like a mirror that must reflect their greatness back to them, not a tool for growth. They want to vomit their story, not transform it. And unfortunately, these unaware therapists just fall prey to their tactics because they play the same old game, silent treatment, passive aggression. It becomes so toxic to deal with that ultimately the poor therapist has to end the relationship, which is why you will see most therapists do not work with narcissists, even those who are aware and say, I would like to change. Number 2, social services. The older or semi-collapsed narcissist often finds their new supply in social services. They volunteer, fundraise, or campaign for causes that attract a lot of admiration. They pose as protectors of animals, champions of women, or defenders of children. They know the world will clap for anyone who holds a sign, rescues a dog, or raises money for a shelter. On the surface, they look saintly. An old man raising money for domestic violence survivors, think about that, or an old woman photographed with rescued puppies. But beneath the banner, the same hunger is at work. They feed off the admiration, manipulate volunteers, and siphon resources for themselves. The charity is not about the cause, it's about their image. The collapsed narcissist turns social service into self service. Number 3, religious institutions. This one is big. One of the most common refuges for a collapsed narcissist is religion. They don the costume of devotion. They change their appearance, perform the rituals, and flood conversations with scripture and sermons. For example, a Muslim narcissist may suddenly grow a long beard, wear a cap, and pray 5 times a day. A Christian narcissist may attend every church service loudly invoking the Trinity. From the outside, it looks like transformation, but is it? You need to watch closely. The entitlement and the arrogance seeps through. They never leave. God becomes a tool of control, an extension of their ego. They don't worship with love, they weaponize faith. They preach morality while practicing manipulation. They use religion as a shield against accountability and as a sword to dominate others. Their God is not God at all, it is their ego dressed in holy clothes. Number four, hospice. Hospice care strips away filters, and what remains is raw character. When a narcissist faces terminal illness, you may expect them to soften, to mellow down. Instead, many intensify. They bark orders at nurses, humiliate caretakers, and demand impossible attention. Families are divided, wills are rewritten, and drama becomes their last performance. It's not uncommon for dying narcissists to summon old rivals just to gloat or cause fresh wounds. Even as life slips away, they cling to control. They rage at the limits of their body, rage at the loss of power, and rage at the people who dare not obey. Rarely there's a glimpse of honesty. But in most cases, the collapse in hospice is not humility. It is cruelty unmasked, carried all the way to the grave. There are so many hospice nurses sharing their experiences online, talking about how they have to deal with these monsters and how their narcissism becomes magnified when they are approaching death. Number five, courtrooms. When the social stage is gone, the courtroom becomes a new arena. Collapsed narcissists thrive on conflict, on drama, and the legal system provides endless opportunities, unfortunately. They file complaints for petty issues. They sue neighbors, ex partners, or even strangers. They draft page after page of accusations, convinced that the world owes them victory. In court, they posture as the righteous victim, demanding recognition, trying to drain others' time and resources. Winning matters, that is what it is all about, but even losing can be twisted into supply. It proves the system is corrupt, that they are the misunderstood hero battling injustice. For them, the courtroom is not about justice, it's about attention, drama, and the illusion of power. Number six, pubs and clubs. Collapse does not always look like despair. Sometimes it looks like intoxication. When silence becomes unbearable, pubs and clubs provide distraction. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, and nightlife all serve as quick escapes, distractions from reality. They drown their emptiness in noise, neon lights, and fleeting pleasures. You will see them throwing money around, buying admiration, and treating people as toys. They chase dopamine hits, fast highs that vanish as quickly as they come. Beneath the loud music and laughter is the same hollowness, the same refusal to sit with reality. The more collapsed they are, the harder they party, because silence is too close to truth. Number seven, and the last one, social media, the digital throne. Social media is where you will find a lot of collapsed narcissists because they reinvent themselves with a camera and a Wi Fi connection. They shout into the void, and the algorithm unfortunately rewards them. Outrage, superiority, and performance attract followers no matter how hollow and useless the content is. They curate perfect images, luxury cars, lavish weddings, expensive rings, and staged events. They rant with big words trying to sound profound. They mask their emptiness with volume. Many build armies of followers who mirror their brokenness back to them. Misogynistic men follow other misogynistic men. Insecure people gather under leaders who preach arrogance as wisdom. The narcissist thrives here because social media unfortunately offers applause without intimacy. No one sees behind the curtain, the veil. Only the performance is projected. And for a collapsed narcissist, that is enough to keep the false self breathing. Now, let's bring it all together. Collapsed narcissists do not vanish. They reinvent. They seek new stages where their hunger can hide behind respectability, charity, religion, illness, legality, pleasure, and performance. You may see them in therapy, in service, in faith, in hospice, in courtrooms, in clubs, or or even on your screen. They do not stop being narcissists though. They simply relocate their drama. If you have recognized these patterns, know this: their collapse is not your closure. Their collapse is their migration. Your closure comes when you step out of their performance and choose your own reality. And if you want to go deeper into healing from betrayal trauma, the kind that leaves you doubting your worth and struggling to trust again, remember only 60 seats remain for the workshop at the early bird price. The link is in the description. Sign up right now. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.